Just wanted to welcome you to another episode of Don't Tread on May with your host, Shmay. So, I know what you're thinking. Wait, you're a conservative? You're wearing a baha. I love it. Anyways, don't look past my beautiful outfit. But I just wanted to bring up a couple current events. I like talking about current events, and I created this podcast YouTube channel for the sole purpose of sharing my opinion, which might be of the right side central thought process. I feel that not a lot of clout is brought to women who think, in terms of the right. So, there's a couple of news stories that have come to my attention in the last couple of days, and maybe you've seen them too. A couple of them, actually the ones that I'm going to talk about today, have to do with transgenderism. I guess it's called transgenderism. It's a space that, I am into personal liberties. I don't really care if you want to, change your private parts and love another person. It doesn't really matter to me, honestly. It's your life. It's how you interact with your life and God, and that's between you guys completely, totally. The only place that I get a little perturbed by is when it affects other people. And in this situation, specifically, I just feel like a huge disservice is happening to women and specifically girls. So let's start with kind of a funnier story. I don't know if you heard about this, but Jessica Yavani, I think that's how you say her name. It's a transgender female. I'll show you the clip here. A transgender, I don't know if you call it female. Yeah, transgender female, which in my my understanding is a man who is transitioning to a female. So transgender female, born a man with man parts, and went through puberty as a boy and decided later on in life that, this who I am made to be is incorrect, and I was supposed to be a girl, and I identify fully as a girl. So this lady decided she wanted her balls waxed, which, I didn't know ladies have balls, but I guess they do. Anyways, actually, I have balls. Anyways, I'm kidding. I don't actually have balls, but I, in the terms of, being bold and all that kind of stuff. But this lady actually had balls. Has, present tense, balls. So she went to the wax store. She's like, I want a Brazilian. And the esthetician was like, okay, well, these are different parts than what a Brazilian includes. So, you know what? We just don't do that here. And Jessica, the born a male girl boy, threw a fit. Thought, this is, what is it called? This is, what is that one word? I don't know. Basically, she was offended that the esthetician would not wax her balls. So, it turned into a big court case. Discrimination, that's what it is. It was discriminatory of this lady to not wax Yavani's balls. So, I don't know about this. If you are aware of this, okay? I'm a cosmetologist, so I have licensing in makeup, hair, nails. That includes waxing, all of the above. When you wax, there's something that happens. There's something that needs to happen to ensure proper removal of hair. Okay, there's a root in there's a root of hair, and here's the hair. And then you have to put a wax over it, and then you whoosh it out, okay? So when you do that, the trick is to pull the skin taut. T-A-U-T, taut. That means to like excessively pull. So when you get your eyebrows done, just for instance, here's what you do. You put the wax on there. Then what happens? You have a little ledge here. What happens? They pull it. They pull it taut. See how this is taut now? You want to know why? Because it makes the skin a little bit tighter, so then when you pull the hair out, it just basically releases the follicle and the hair can just be released. Well, I don't know if you have any experience with balls. I just don't really know how you would pull them taut, okay? Sorry. Controversial talk. In essence, I have a friend who has actually done this procedure and says it's not, you cannot do it. So it's not a thing that's like, oh, because you're a woman pretending to be a man, or who believes it, or because you're a man who believes they are a female, that you have access to, certain services because you are identifying as a female. There are literal things in your body that will not allow this service to be done. And it's excess skin. I'm so sorry. I know, sorry. So she took it to court. Jessica, this born a male, decided to be a girl, or decided to be a girl, decided to take it to court. Luckily enough, the judge ruled in the esthetician's favor. I think the ironic part to this article is that it says, Jessica Giovanni loses case against woman who wouldn't wax her balls. Wouldn't wax her balls. Mainly just because balls aren't supposed to be waxed. Okay, according to the news release, the decision noted human rights legislation does not require a service provider to wax a type of genitals they are not trained for and have not consented to wax. The decision further found that Giovanni engaged in improper conduct, filed complaints for improper purposes, and concluded Giovanni's testimony was disingenuous and self-serving. Finally, noted the tribunal, whatever, Giovanni was evasive and argumentative and contradicted herself. I mean, I think the fact that she has balls kind of contradicts herself too. I digress. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe wait until you get that sex change surgery to get that wax that you're wanting. I think maybe then it'd be a little easier. Until then, the skin on your huevos is just a little too loose and cannot be pulled taut. And with that, I'm sorry, we cannot wax your balls. All right, next article. That one was a little bit lighter. Let's go to transgender cyclists who set women's world record wouldn't have qualified for men's championship. This one pisses me off. Pisses me off way more than having to wax a guy's girl balls, but here we are. So, Rachel McKinnon is a professional Canadian cyclist who was born a biological male, but now identifies as a female. According to the Union Cyclist International Masters Track Championship rules, McKinnon therefore is allowed to compete against women instead of men. She's previously claimed that being born male but racing against women is not only fair but a human right for transgender individuals. I watched an interview with this transgender lady, which again means born male, identifies as a female. Pronouns are his, hers. Oh, sorry, no. Just joking. Pronouns are so funny. Anyways, she basically believes that access to sport is a human right, which, you know what? I would agree. I think it's a great thing to use your body. I think it's a great thing to exercise and compete. I think that's an amazing space to be. And but here's the thing: it starts to create a terrible space when you were born a male, you went through puberty as a male, and then later on in life, after having all the testosterone in your body, the muscle mass, the bone mass, all of that stuff in your body, then to decide, you know what? I'm a female, actually. I've always felt like this. And I'm still going to do this sport, but I'm going to do it against females because I identify as a female. That is bullshit. I'm sorry. Here's the thing. If you were born a male, you went through puberty as a male, your body has like stronger bones, has more muscle mass, testosterone, add all of that to it. I'm sorry. You are not a female. A couple things that, okay, it's very interesting when you get a sex change operation. There's only two sexes that they change you to, which is crazy because the left will have you believe that there is an array of sexes or something. I don't even know. Maybe that's not gender. I'm not sure. Anyways, it's so confusing to kind of keep up with what the ABC crowd, ABC's alphabet soup, LGBTQRS, VRN, I don't even know. Can't even keep up with it. But if you were born as a male, this is something that's really cool. Your pelvis bone, your pelvic bone, no, your tailbone, in men and women is different. And you want to know why? Because a male's is like cemented. I don't know. I don't know what the right word is. Essentially, it does not move. It just stays there, and it's soldered. I don't know. It's not soldered. Fused together. Whereas a woman's tailbone actually moves. Isn't that crazy? You want to know why? I'll tell you why. Because we are created to birth a child, which is something that men are not created. No matter what the left will tell you, women have that awesome ability to birth a child. With that awesome ability, it comes from your private parts. That means it has to squeeze through your pelvic bone area. Your tailbone's right there. So God, in all his awesome power, knew, okay, this can't stay stationary. It needs to flex and move so that a whole baby can fit through your hips or whatever, your birth canal. So it's not just the hormones. It's not just the private parts. There is so many things that make a person their gender. Tons of aspects that a whole surgery is not going to change. And this is bullshit. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it. I feel bad for all the women, the young girls who strive to be good in their sport. And because this person wants to be a girl and identifies as a girl, sees herself and her own, I'm talking about the guy, needs far better, far higher than these person's needs. The actual girl. Like, that I'm going to compete in this, and if I win, it's because you weren't a better sports, or you weren't better at sports. You're an actual guy. Ugh. It's bullshit. It's where are the feminists on this? Where are the women who are champion equality and all that kind of stuff? Where are they when our women, when our girls are just being erased from sports? It's awful. You're going to have men's sports, and then you're going to basically have co-ed sports, and women will have no space. So McKinnon, did the competition, and she set a new world best time in qualifying and went on to take the gold in the sprint for a second consecutive year. Anyways, the world record McKinnon set in the qualifying round was 11.649 for the female age range 35 through 39. In the male 35 through 39 age group, top qualifying round time was 10.49. Okay, so my understanding is that is just qualifying. Qualifying into the final race, I don't know. I'm not really into this stuff, but she did about a second faster than the qualifying male group. Yet set a world record for the female of the same age group. How crazy. She's a man. Anyways, if McKinnon had competed against these men instead of the women, the Canadians' time would not have finished in the top 10. She would have placed 11th. 11th. This means McKinnon would not have been allowed to compete in the men's sprint championship. Ironic, isn't it? She says this. All my medical records say female. She says, my doctor treats me as a female person. I wonder if she gets that annual checkup too. I think not. My racing license says female. But people who oppose my existence still want to think of me as a male. So, if we want to say that you believe you're a woman for all of society except for this massive central part that is sport, then that is not fair. Is it not fair? Just for you? It's not fair just for you? God, so selfish. After the race on Sunday, McKinnon tweeted, I have yet to meet a real champion who has a problem with trans women. That's a male who's deciding it's a female, just so you know. Real champions want stronger competition. If you win because bigotry got your competition banned, you're a loser. I don't know. I think if you were, I don't even care about how you identify in your freaking brain. That's fine. But your body says completely different. Okay, honestly, let's cut to a picture of this person. It seems like it's only identified as a female for let's say maybe a year, because that hair has not grown out much at all. Come on, people. How long have you been on hormone treatment? Even if it's just been a small amount of time, your body is still exists as a male. And you want to talk about what's fair? You want to know what's fair? Is if you were to compete with people of your same class, and I'm sorry, but then you'd be a loser because you didn't make the time for that. Sorry. Gosh, these people. There's a young girl in high school who lost her track meet to two boys who identify as female in high school. This girl loves running. She's fought hard for having a scholarship. And you want to know what's bullshit? Is that women and girls in sports is just being erased. And it's so sad. And more women and more men need to speak up about the discrimination of this. Because that's fine. You want to know what? Go be transgender and go do sports. But you want to know what? If we're inventing this whole other line of people, well then let's get with the times. Let's make a whole thing for transgender people. But I'm sure that's not what you want to do because you think you identify as a female. Anyways, did you guys see that one thing that said straight men not being interested in trans women is bigotry? I'm sorry. You kind of answered the whole thing in your meme, I don't know, information post. It says straight men. Straight men. So I don't know if you realize this, but that straight men means they like women. Women. Yeah. So as much as you think you are born the opposite sex that you identify as now, doesn't mean that everybody has to think that way of you too. It's a journey that trans people are on. And straight people might like, what they're interested in. They might not be interested in trans women. And that's okay. You can't force people to be attracted to you. God, if I could do that, Justin Bieber would be my husband. I'm just joking. I'm just kidding. You have to like me because I'm obsessed with you. Just joking. I'm kidding. It's so heartbreaking. And to call people losers for not being okay with this, I'm sorry. Ends up you're the loser because in your same class of biological people, you wouldn't even have won the competition. So sit down, okay? Sit down. Stop making this all about you. Next on my list. This one's really heartbreaking. This one's really heartbreaking. So, Texas. Jury rules against Texas dad fighting 7-year-old son's gender transition. I watched a couple articles about this, or watched a couple interviews about this, and this is truly horrific. It's disgusting. This husband and wife, they could not get pregnant. So what they did was they found an egg donor and they used the husband's sperm and they implanted those two babies, I don't know, into the mom. So the mother into the mom. So it was an egg donor. So I don't know. Anyways, that might offend people that I'm talking like this, but it has to do with the case. So she has the kids, about like 2 years into their relationship. It's just not working out. And they end up divorcing. They have 2 twin boys. In my opinion, I think maybe the mom wanted a girl. And has been forcefully pursuing a new sexual identity for her son against the will of the dad, and it's just awful. So he says, um, 11 of 12 jurors decided not to grant the dad sole management conservatorship over his two twin boys. They voted that the current joint management should be placed by a sole management person, which they decided should be the mom, and that it should not be the dad. According to LifeSite News, the mother has been granted authority to move forward with puberty blockers for the 7-year-old. A 7-year-old! Which can cause a chemical castration and potentially this little boy can use hormones if the mother chooses. At this time, the mother does not plan on giving James blockers at this time. However, no one has stated that she would not be open to using them when James begins puberty, which would be around the age of 11. Mr. Younger is now forced to affirm his son's new gender identity, a girl named Luna. I want you to imagine having electronic communication with your son on FaceTime, and imagine that your ex-wife has dressed him as a drag queen to talk to you. He has false eyelashes, makeup, and his hair has got glitter in it, and he's wearing a dress. Mind you, I actually have a daughter, too. That's not how they dress. They don't even care about that stuff. Now imagine how you feel seeing this, what I believe is actual sexual abuse. I believe this is not just emotional abuse, but is the very most fundamental form of sexual abuse, tampering with the sexual identity of a vulnerable boy. Couldn't agree more. James consistently chooses to wear boy clothes at the dad's house. They're separated, mom's house, dad's house. He violently refuses to wear girl clothes at my home and identifies as a boy whenever he is around his dad. Crazy, right? James's mother has accused Younger of child abuse in their divorce proceeding for not affirming James as transgender and is looking to strip the dad of his parental rights. He uses the girl's bathroom, and all of his authority figures, except for the dad, refer to him as a boy. And his father is the only person that has told him the actual truth that he is an actual boy. The father noted that he witnessed his wife was only giving James love and affection when he was acting like a girl. She used to lock James in his room and tell him monsters only eat boys. Every single day you have to see your son sexually abused, and you have to maintain your calm because the courts are not going to be fair to you. And the only way you can survive this and get your son through this alive is to calmly allow your son to be tortured right before your eyes and outlast the opposition. They're asking me to affirm a delusion. This is so sick. I can't even handle it. I can't even handle it. Obviously, something's wrong with the mother. I think it's so stupid and irresponsible for mothers and families, honestly, to affirm gender changing and all that kind of stuff. It's stupid. I'm sorry. It really is. You want to know what? I have kids. I have a 12-year-old, I have a 5-year-old, and I have a 10-month-old or 11-month-old now. They come up with the craziest stuff. And you want to know what? In our society, if a boy's like, "Oh, I'm a girl," we're going to change everything, how we interact with this kid, completely based off of a little thought process. I've seen parents do it. I've seen parents almost like coerce like their kid into thinking bullies lurk around every corner. Don't get me started on that. And then secondly, this stuff. Allow your kid the space to just exist. Okay? When I was 10, when I was 7, when I was 4. You want to know what? I just liked who I was. Crazy, right? My parents allowed me the space to just like who I was. It was never in my thought process that I could possibly be a boy, or that it was that some people do that, because it wasn't like that in the 90s or 80s, you know? So this breaks my heart, because even the lots of people from the LGBTQRS community have written the lawyers and have written the father saying, this is child abuse. This is not right. If that's a choice that you want to make as an adult, then even if it's a choice that you want to make when you're 15, 16, make it then. You want to know what? I'm a hairstylist. I've told you this before. People want bangs. Let me tell you. I asked them a couple questions first. What is going on? Do you need to talk about something? Second, I'm going to let you think about this for a little bit longer, because bangs are a huge commitment. They're bangs. And if you really want them, you know, then next haircut, we'll do them. But bangs suck. Okay? They really do. It shouldn't be a wild hair to be like, oh, I want bangs. No, something else is going on. Just joking. But like, to just move forward at the age of 7 for chemical castration, you're killing your son. You're killing them. What if they just like, when I was younger, I wanted to be, I don't even know. I wanted to be like the craziest things, you know? But there's the verse that says, when I was a child, I spoke like a child. I acted like a child. But when I became a man, I put away the childish things. You are not allowing your kid to have the space and wherewithal to mature and grow up and be done with things that they're might possibly not be as committed as you are to the change. You know? Like, check yourself. Ugh, as parents. What are you affirming? And think about that life. Like, that's a decision I want them to make in their full understanding of like who they are and what they want their life to be. Just like in college, you know, like, what kind of career do you want? What kind of gender do you want? You know, God, you don't have you don't have a 4-year-old decide, you know what? I think I want to be an engineer. When they say that, you're like, oh yes, Johnny, I'm sure you do. Work hard towards it, you know? You don't just start making moves in that direction at the age of 4, 5, or 7. Kids, like literally, kids do not think about sex. Kids do not think about who they love or anything like that at that young of an age. I believe fully that this child is being abused. And I think we all, as level-headed people, need to speak up against this, because it's wrong. That kid has no voice. He has said to his father multiple times that I'm not a girl, mom does this, and all that kind of stuff. And he presented all this information to the courts, and yet the court ruled against it, because we as a society are stupid. And nobody talks out about how awful this stuff is. Okay? But here I am doing it because I guess I have balls. Ha! Brought it back around. So, I don't know. Pray for that boy, James. And pray for his dad. You know what? I have an actual idea. I'll tell you about it later. Anyways, yeah, that's my opinion about recent current events and articles about transgenderism. I'm not going to wax your balls. You have man parts. You can't force us to do that. You playing in our sports against our girls is a disservice to them, no matter what you want to say. Bigotry is attached to it. It's a disservice to females, actual bio females, and I won't stand for that. That's awful. Secondly, parents should not be forcing or coercing their child into anything that is going to be detrimental to their life growing up. We don't allow kids to go to the army until they're 18. We don't allow people to drink until they're 21. Driving a car till they're 16. Why in the world has it become okay to medically, chemically castrate young kids for a decision that will cost them so much more than being drunk? Like, this is stupid and we need to do better. So I'm signing off, and those are my opinions. And I live in America, and I don't really care if they're not your opinions. They're my opinions, and I'm entitled to them, and this is my view. And it's a conservative, right-thinking view. So, sorry for the harsh language. If you think along the same lines, if you just think I'm funny looking, please consider liking and sharing this video. I think we need to come together as conservative or libertarian women and voice our opinion more. I'm over the view. They don't carry any thought process of my view. And if you feel that way too, then share this video. I understand that it might be kind of weird sharing it on Facebook because I talk about balls. Just joking. But your views help your views and your sharing help other people see an aspect that is not a liberal concept of how to interact with the world. So consider liking, sharing, or commenting on the video.